In Bloomberg's June COVID resilience ranking, the US ranked number 1. Seriously, isn't it crystal clear to the public that America has the highest number of COVID cases and deaths toll? I feel sorry for the American people, but the US is undoubtedly number 1 in anti-pandemic failure, nothing to do with resilience. So obsessed with number 1, the US also wins the champion in the blame game. Why do I say so? Check the calendar. You'll find that it always hypes up the blame right at the timing when the US pandemic got worse. In February last year, for example, the former US President Donald Trump lauded China's efforts in combating the disease.
Well, I think China is very, professionally run in the sense that they have everything under control.
However, his attitude made a U-turn in mid-March 2020 by tweeting Chinese virus. Why? Review the timeline. You will find the US declared national emergency on March 13th to respond to the worsening pandemic.
Today I am officially declaring a national emergency.
It's known to all that WHO declared the coronavirus outbreak a public health emergency of international concern on January 30th. American politicians, they wasted months downplaying the virus. When the country was hit hard by the virus, the people was getting angry. In order to cover up their disability to control the pandemic and shift public anger, they started blaming China. At the end of April 2020, during a White House event,
anything at this point that gives you a high degree of confidence that the Wuhan Institute of Virology was the origin of this virus?
Yes, I have.
Check the news. You will find that at that time, the US overtook China, becoming world's number 1 in COVID cases for the first time. He was playing the trick again, swiftly deflecting public attention away from his incompetence in controlling the pandemic, which cost tens of thousands of lives of American people, sparked up an economic contraction, and threatened his chance of re-election. Unfortunately, his blame game didn't win him the presidency in the re-election. Then came Biden administration. However, the blame game does not stop. Biden continued his predecessor's way. He tries to shift the blame by picking up the early abandoned lab leak theory. He ordered a further US intelligence investigation into the origin of COVID-19, asking for a report back in 90 days. Well, totally ignoring WHO's professional investigation report, which marks lab leak theory as extremely unlikely. When deadline is approaching, the US Congressman Michael released a report, The Origins of COVID-19, on August 1st. This report mainly accused the Chinese government along with WHO of covering up the pandemic at the early stage based on obscure data and materials collected from social media. Nothing new. When they're busy with the report, what were American people going through? They were under the 4th wave of COVID-19 with more than 100,000 new infections reported on average each day. Does the origin tracing weigh more than saving American lives at this time? For the politicians, it surely does. They need this report, which is not based on science, but politics, to cover up its own faults and failure during the pandemic. Playing blame game is more deadly than the virus. It's time for the US to stop the blame game and focus on the real urgent issues.